This episode of Hak5 is brought to you by Domain.com.
Hello and welcome to Hak5. My name is Darren Kitchen.
I'm Shannon Morse.
It's your weekly dose of Technolust, and I am very excited. That's my club mate.
It's okay, I'm not sick anymore.
Thanks.
Sorry.
Still owe me 2 euros.
It just tastes really good. Yeah, we have euros in the
This
kitchen.
is the show where we get really caffeinated and talk about tech.
Yes, we do.
We're back in the studio today because we're still building out some epic stuff in the other warehouse portion.
I really like this studio.
Okay. No.
I just think we need some stickers, okay?
Oh, we should have a sticker drive.
We should seriously,
We
like,
should-
just put all the stickers in all the
Okay.
places.
All right. We'll be like,
Wouldn't that be cool?
Yes.
Just sticker all the sticks.
I'm down with that.
All the sticks.
Let's find a way that we can make it so that people can send us stickers. But
That's a good idea.
yes. You know what? People can actually come here to the warehouse to learn all sorts of fun hacking now. This is very exciting.
Are we announcing it?
Yeah, it's
Oh my
finally
gosh.
live.
So Darren has been working so hard on this, seriously. Poor guy needs a vacation, and I'm sorry you haven't had one yet. But we are going to be doing pen testing with Hak5.
Yes, and so what that means is it's InfoSec security training. It is being done with myself and Mubix and Sebastian and Evil Server Cameo.
Evil
Check this
Server.
out.
Yeah.
The instructors.
I'm surprised that Evil Server is going to be showing up, but he'll
Well,
be there.
here's the difference, right? Is we're actually, rather than just like talking at you, we're calling it pen testing with Hak5 for 2 reasons. Like, first of all, we're going to be using Hak5 gear. We're actually teaching these right here. You know, the Metasploit framework, the USB
Yeah.
rubber ducky, the Wi-Fi pineapple, and the upcoming turtle.
Turtle.
More about that later. And so, so it's pen testing with Hak5 in the sense that we're using Hak5 gear, but we're also doing it with Hak5, the hosts, and the
I love that.
Mubix and Sebastian and
Yeah.
I. And we're doing a simulated pen test engagement where you'll follow along. It's kind of like story driven. It's very much like, I don't want to say Dungeons
that's
and Dragons,
awesome.
but it's a role-playing adventure where you join the Hak5 Red Team. And it's going to be so exciting because you'll learn through example, right?
Yes.
We're going to be doing the same exact stuff we would do on a literal pen test, except it's in a simulated network environment and nobody can get hurt. And you're going to see why we're doing certain things. And of course, yes, we'll pause the adventure and teach, like, here's why and here's how that works and all of that stuff. But it's just so exciting.
I am really, really excited about this. I've never done any kind of pen testing like that, any kind of scenarios, but I've been reading so many books about it that get me excited. So I can't wait to be there. I'm going to be in the class.
Yes, well, you know what it is? It's basically taking a lot of the stuff that we already do, but it's applied, right? So we're applying the same kind of stuff
the application.
to the networked adversaries,
It's the
which is
application
where
level.
Evil Server comes in.
Yeah.
Yes, adversaries are good. So check it out over at pentestwithhack5.com. It's going to be pretty epic. You can sign up now. It's on June 26th, and every student will receive $300 in awesome Hak5 gear, including the exclusive patch. I can't wait to get those patches in. They look epic.
I'm stoked. I can't wait.
So yeah, that's what we've been working on.
Yeah.
So
Working very diligently.
very much so.
But we're back with the show now, and we actually got a whole lot of feedback about, getting your email in just a text-only format.
Oh, hey, yeah. You know what? Lynx is epic. Check it out. I'm in Lynx. Signed into Gmail.
That's
and
awesome.
It's not.
You're signed into my Gmail.
It's not the most annoying
Crazy.
thing in the world. Yeah, it's actually the most
You know
annoying
what?
thing in the
It
world.
looks fine.
Like,
it works.
this is this is terrible. And this is the HTML view, and it's like, really? This is my reply to?
But it works.
No, and it's in it. You know what? No, because it's going over HTTP. It's way more bandwidth than it even needs to be, right?
That's true. Yeah.
I mean, in fact, if you go back to the 2013 Hack Across America series, you'll find an awesome episode where I talked to some fine folks over at a satellite modem service company that
awesome.
that does like satellite modems and stuff, and we geek out about the ways to condense everything down to like as few packets as possible, because it turns out bytes are really expensive when they have to go up to space and back down. So this is a horrible solution as far as like low bandwidth is concerned. I mean, it's better than trying to load the like 27 gigabytes that is Gmail's JavaScript framework.
Yeah.
It might be a gig now. I don't know. They might have trimmed it down.
Yeah.
Maybe they minified it.
So I've been having fun with that too, but should we take a break first, maybe?
Oh, well, but we just started. But yeah, hey, how about we ask your boy Patrick what's going on with Tech Thing?
That's a great idea.
And then when we get back, we're going to get our IMAP on.
Sounds good to me.
Better than popping.
Coming up on Tech Thing, we've got a festival of products. Shannon's going to be testing the Pet Cube, which is like remote monitoring, laser torturing of your pets. I've got the Asus Transformer T300 Chi right here, people. Convertibles, they're kind of interesting. We got a whole bunch more products, and we're going to explain how to keep your files streaming even when you shut your desktop down. And yes, folks, I will be shaved. Check it out on techthing.com.
Back before the Internet of Things and social networks and dependence on webmail, we all used epic protocols like POP and IMAP to get our ISP's mail through clients like Eudora and Pegasus and Thunderbird.
Aww.
And here to share with us one of the most epic ones, Shannon, I'm very excited that you're diving into Pine.
Are you excited?
I am.
I'm excited.
I haven't pined my mail since 1995.
Oh my gosh, I was a baby, kind of. I'll just announce this here. I've never done Alpine before I started doing this segment.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like, this is awesome. Why did I not know about this when I was like growing up in the 90s?
Of course. As soon as you give Shannon anything, though, I gave her a shell on one of those VPSs, and then everything just breaks loose, right?
So then I was like, yay, access to all the things.
Well, you give her links, and the next thing you know, yeah. So building on this, rather than just like use another text-based program like Lynx, the awesome web browser that we showed off last week, to just log into your Gmail, we can do it with a client.
We can.
Yes.
So I just had a Putty installed on my Windows machine, and if I just log into my Alpine computer. Okay, so I'm in just a regular command line, and I downloaded Alpine. So that was just a simple sudo apt-get Alpine. When I enter it, it looks like this. So if I just maximize this, up here you see folder inbox, no messages, main menu. All right, so obviously this is some kind of email that I'm able to access over basically a command line interface. So the first thing that you have to do whenever you're setting this up is actually go into your Gmail, and you'll need to configure IMAP. We're not using POP in this location, we're actually using IMAP.
The difference there would be that POP would actually download the mail from, in this case we're using Gmail as our example mail server, because a lot of people use that nowadays.
Yeah.
It would actually download it from Google servers onto your, in this case, shell, or it could just run on your computer locally. And that's not really recommended, because now if you try to get your email from like another computer, it's not going to be there. So IMAP is great in keeping things in sync. It still leaves the email on the Google server, so that when the FBI wants to send a national security letter and get a copy of it, that it's still there. It's very important.
Which is why we use PGP.
GPG, PGP.
All right, so I go into my setup for Alpine, and there's a couple of things that you need to change in here. So first, you can go over to Config, which is the C button, and you want to change the top three things. So I made it just Shannon Gmail for my personal name. The user domain is snubsy@gmail.com, and then SMTP server is the one that's very special. It's smtp.gmail.com. So this will let you access it.
And that's the SMTP server is actually what you're going to be using to send your email,
Yeah.
whereas to receive your email, that's going to go through imap.gmail.com. That's their IMAP server, very aptly named.
Very aptly.
Similar to the POP server being pop.gmail.com.
So you'll also need to change another thing in setup, and this is under collections list, which you'll press the L button to actually get into that. And it says you may define groups of folders to help you better organize your mail. So you go in here, and then you want to add one with the A button. When you open that, you can make a nickname, so I just called it Shannon Gmail. And then the server, which is called imap.gmail.com/ssl/user equals, and then whatever your Gmail is. So for me, snubsy@gmail.com. And then after that, you want to hit Control-X to save, and then E to exit back to the main page. So now everything should be set up and ready to go, right?
We should probably also preface this by saying that the first time you ever do this, when you create that profile, it is going to ask you for your password.
Oh yeah, well.
And since Shannon and I are smart and we use two-factor authentication,
Yeah.
this is where it gets a little weird, because there's no way for the Google Authenticator to like pop up in this client. So you will actually have to create an application-specific password.
And we also noticed that there were some errors when I created a new account on Gmail, and I suspect that it has something to do with Gmail not allowing you to do ICMP IMAP as you set it up.
Yeah, I think that might be the case.
So If you just now set up a new Gmail account, you might not be able to use this, but if it's one that you've been using for years, shouldn't have a problem, which we both kind of confirmed on our own. So I'm going to go back into my folder list, Shannon Gmail. Since I had that two-factor authentication one, I use the generic @specific password that I created. Hit enter, and it brings you to all your different folders. So I have Inbox, Discovery for DDN, I have Twit on here, my wedding stuff. So if I go over into one of these, and I'll just do my coupon folder.
Oh my gosh.
Because I am an extreme couponer.
You should see her Instagram. It's just covered in coupons.
Look at all the couponing.
You are the worst hoarding coupon person I've ever known.
Hey man, it's important.
All right.
Okay, so let's see. I'll go into this Thrift Town one because they have a lot of text in that one. Hit enter, and you should be able to get into your inbox.
Yay.
So this is the email that I got from Thrift Town because I'm very thrifty.
Email, just like it was in the 90s.
It's totally.
Actually, you know what? If you captured all of this through Wireshark, you'd be surprised how little data it actually is. It's a pretty nimble protocol.
It's awesome.
I'm
kind of obsessed with this. I'm going to send you an email.
It's really great too because if you're on if you have terrible bandwidth, right? There's no reason why you shouldn't have, say, Juice SSH on Android or ConnectBot at the very least. I'm sure there's some iOS SSH apps. I'm not familiar. I don't use iOS, but SSH is the way to go because it's already light and secure. So now you have a secure connection between your device, and that's kind of the nice thing about using a shell. And so, yes, this is pretty epic, Shannon.
It's kind of freaking cool. Enter. Hi, I'm sending you mail.
Yay.
I just sent you mail from my
Very
text
excited
screen.
to receive your mail.
It says hello.
Thank you for helping us save the day when it comes to low bandwidth.
I am saving all the datas.
Yes.
All the bits.
Hey, let us know. What do you guys use? Are you a fan of Elm? Feedback at hak5.org is the place where you can let us know, or just drop a comment below and say, hey, you guys forgot to give a shout out to Mozilla something.
Something.
I can't remember the other. Outlook. No, we're not shouting out to Outlook, are we?
No.
No. Look out! And with that, we'll be right back. It doesn't matter if you're a fan of Pop3 or IMAP, we're not going to judge. When you have that killer idea, you need to snag yourself a domain name and web hosting fast. And let me tell you, with domain.com, they've got this quick domain discovery system and an easy checkout process that essentially is going to have you with your website and your domain name up and running in like no time. And you've heard me tell you before how much I love them, mainly because they're affordable, reliable, and easy to use, but mostly because they are so awesome to do business with. They're just a fun company. You can tweet them at domain.com and say, hey, thanks for supporting Hak5 for all these years. And the guys over at domain.com, huge fans of Hak5, so they want to hook you up. And get this, if you use the coupon code HAK5, really easy to remember, it spells Hak5, you can get an extra 15% off at domain.com. So, when you think domain names, think domain.com. It really is a brave new world when it comes to authentication and identification, and in that, we are really pleased to be joined once again by Stina and Jared from Yubico. We've talked in the past with you guys before because you're doing some amazing things in the realm of logging in securely, and it's some exciting times because a lot has changed since the original YubiKey. Last time we talked, it was all about FIDO and U2F. Can you kind of break down those acronyms for us again?
So FIDO U2F is a new open authentication initiative, and FIDO stands for Fast Identity Online, and U2F stands for Universal Second Factor.
And so we should probably be familiar with second factor in that we're using it in our Gmails with our Google authenticators. We're hopefully using it with Twitter. But the problem is we have so many other, like I use it with my bank, but then I have to get a text message, and I use it with this service, and I have to get an email. And there's, there are some standards, but there seem to be quite a few of them. How does this differ from OAuth, from OpenID, from Oath, and all of those?
So FIDO was really a huge attempt by the industry to do something that is radically different than some of the other standards out there. I mean, there've been a lot of focus on the federation side, which is, you sign in once and you're authorized to all these different systems. We really take a step back and says, well, we need to do authentication correctly. So FIDO U2F is really an authentication standard, whereas some of the other standards are part of the federation and part of the single sign-on and authorization portion. There is another standard, Oath, but it doesn't have some of the same principles that we're trying to solve here, which is privacy, and one key being able to do and be associated with many services, which has never been heard before. So it's a really different in the way that we do authentication.
And it's also really good security. I mean, we got the session security, and it's protection against man-in-the-middle attacks, where the Google Authenticator and the YubiKey one-time password is really good security, but it's not really
bulletproof.
Yeah.
We should also mention that because we don't like to have vendors on Hak5 to tout their products, and this isn't even that, because U2F isn't a YubiKey or a Yubico product, and actually it can be used with many different, since it is an open standard, many different authentication tokens, right?
And methods. I mean, today it's been proven with USB and NFC and Bluetooth is in the making.
I've seen some smart cards and things like
there
that.
are smart cards. There's biometrics. There's also phone only. So the protocols works directly with your phone without an extra device. And that's the kind of ecosystem we want to help to build, because it's not going to happen if it's just limited to one form factor or one vendor, or it just have to enable a bigger ecosystem.
As far as the ecosystem is concerned, it seems like there's a lot of tension in getting something like this deployed. I'm thinking far back as the 1990s and Microsoft Passport and the troubles that OAuth and OpenID have had trying to get a foothold. And nobody does all of the things right, and nobody gets adopted across the board. There's very good reason for second factor to be adopted, which we shouldn't have to go into why you need something more than just something you know. It should be something you have and something you know. Sure. But what are the roadblocks in getting this adopted?
I think one of the roadblocks is just for people to start doing something. I think in essence, when we built some of these systems before, it's complicated. Mm-hmm. And what we really try to focus with this new protocol is simplicity, right? You can get things done today. You don't have to wait for new platforms and new systems. You can build it with existing systems. And we are all about open source and having reference code. So while we have a product, we are also very focused on providing the tools and the resources that the community can build. And so I think the big difference between why things have been roadblocked in many situations was because it could be very complicated, and it could be some things that are on different people's agenda. What we try to do is that strong authentication and two-factor authentication should be available for everyone and anyone.
Right, and I've used your open source stuff in the past to say, for example, set up an SSH session so that you authenticate with your PAM password on the SSH server, but also with your YubiKey, which is really interesting. But so, as a security vendor, you're really not focused on the lock-in or the software then in that case.
No.
So
that's our whole business model. We provide great hardware, and then on top of that, we put on the open source authentication protocols. We got the one-time password. We got PIV for smart cards. We got OpenPGP for encryption. And PIV is also for encryption, by the way. And now we also got U2F.
So let's talk real quick about the hardware, because when you and I met years ago, it was funny that you and I were both doing interesting things with human interface devices, us with the USB rubber ducky to do keystroke injection, and you guys, acting as a head to type in a one-time password with the original YubiKey. Yep. It's really come a long way since there. What is the latest hardware doing that the original wasn't?
Well, I think the latest hardware that we are soon going to release is to be able to do something to do with the Bluetooth LE. But each iteration of the YubiKey is adding more protocols to it, so that you're not bound to just an OTP or maybe just the OpenPGP, but we're really providing the same set of usability of the YubiKey with multiple protocols. And you can use them all at the same time, and that's the beauty of it.
So what are some of the most exciting things that you've seen being built around this?
So, I am super excited about U2F because I think it solves one of the fundamental things on the internet. Today, we can't trust the internet, and a lot of these security systems that are built, they have, there's discussion around who owns it and who sits on the secrets. And with U2F, no one sits on the secrets. No one owns this. This is not a Microsoft Passport. This is not Facebook Connect. This is, a key that you can buy on Amazon today, and in the future, our vision is that it will be hanging among the gift cards on 7-Eleven. Just
Sure.
like, it will just be there. And you'll connect it to any number of services. And it works in a simple touch. And if you're using it together with Gmail today,
Yep.
the way Gmail is set it up, you don't even have to touch it for a month. So it's easier than a username password. And I think the simplicity and the really good security. And then, as Jared said, we got, it's open. So anyone can adopt it, and
Yeah, speaking of anyone adopting it, I mean, U2F seems really cool in that you've got the same kind of companies that are having other different mechanisms involved. They're all coming together to use a universal standard.
Yep.
Your Facebooks and your Googles and your Visas, and who else has come on that you've actually seen? Because I know that Google was one of the first to actually implement it. The fact that you can sign in using U2F in your Gmail is huge. What other major milestones has U2F seen since then?
so later this year, you will see financial services and other cloud companies making support for U2F, the version that we have now, or a next generation that will add a few more use cases that has been requested by members of the community, of the FIDO community. It's about 170 companies there now, including Microsoft, Bank of America, Visa, and they're all backing these standards.
That's just exciting to see that, things like Bank of America adopting a standard that is open source, which means that really interesting things can be done with it, and that you can have a little bit more trust in knowing that, nobody owns it, like you say. I know that you guys are really pushing the open source initiative of this, and actually you're putting some money behind this. Can you tell me a little bit about the Yubico and the virtual hackathon?
Okay. So we want to encourage people to develop U2F applications or YubiKey applications. So we put together a contest where in total $9,000 can be earned in 3 projects. And we'll give free keys. So people come on, you can give free keys, and then we got the open source libraries, and our support team and our engineers will be there to help you. And if we find any of these projects super interesting, we will help with PR and take the products to market, or develop things
Oh,
with
wow,
it. Yeah.
that's really exciting. So they really basically get to partner with you guys to roll out a new application.
Yeah. And some will be open source, but we're not limiting to open source. If someone want to say, hey, I actually want to own this code, then it's not like, we are very much for the open source, and we like to give it away for free, but it's not going to be, that's not a limitation.
So you're saying if they want to use your open source libraries to build a closed source product, you're okay with that?
We're absolutely okay with it. And I think that, we are going to give some preference to people using it for U2F. I think U2F baseline is an authentication protocol, but it really can be extended to many, many things. You can layer things on top of it. It is a public key cryptography protocol, which is a key exchange, and then there is a challenge and response. So there's a lot of real-life applications that can be used with something like that. And we'd love to see the community build something that is useful far beyond authentication.
Yeah.
We've talked about encryption, we talk about physical access. There's so many exciting things that we ourselves can do everything, and hopefully the community can come and help.
So one community project we are seeing as we speak is Firefox Mozilla. There are developers in there. We hope they will soon finalize the support in Firefox for U2F. The strength with U2F is that it's integrated in the browser, but that's also a limitation, because right now it's only integrated in Chrome. So we need all the, the 4 big ones in place.
Ultimately you want to be integrated into the operating system and all of that, don't you?
But we also, meanwhile, we are, any extension or plugins are also welcome, because that's, once you put in the plugin, it will work. Mm-hmm. And the beauty with putting into the browser is don't need any client software. You just eliminate that big complexity around client software, and middleware is just gone. And that has been the problem historically with public key, and smart cards.
Yeah, I must say, even in the limited use case that is using Chrome with Gmail, which is a lot of what I do, but the fact that it works just so simplistically, and you mentioned it's got the PKI and it's got the key exchange and all of those things, and as a user, when I think about it as a user perspective, I just plug in my YubiKey and I don't have to think about what it's doing. And it's really fantastic that it does it on that back end. So yeah, I'm very excited to see what other things that people are building with this. So how do they get involved? How do they go set out to build an application with this and maybe win some funding and get some help bringing it to market?
So we have it on a website now. You can go in and register. It's a very simple process. And once you register, you are given a set of YubiKeys and off you go. So it's really that simple. And all our resources are online. We have a really good developer resource site now. And any tools and reference code can be used to build something that, wow us.
I'm excited just about the idea that something can be built to better the internet for all of humanity. And I'd like to take a break here in just a bit because I do want to talk to you about you meeting President Obama at the White House Cybersecurity Summit. So stay tuned for that. But I must thank you so much for coming out here because I really believe in what you guys are doing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That just about wraps up this week's episode of Hack5, but before we get going, I have an Easter egg for you.
Oh, do you?
Turns out, and I didn't realize I was throwing down the gauntlet when I said it last week, but turns out you can actually watch Hack5 in the terminal.
You got told, didn't you?
I did. I did. You know what though? That's the part I love the most of the Hack5 community.
Constructive telling.
Yeah.
I like constructive telling.
They told me on YouTube, in fact. This is the greatest. You should check out this video. In fact, props to BitBastille. You should check out his entire channel because there's all sorts of good stuff here. And I'm going to skip in to the part where we actually see the command, and I'll full screen this for you. But basically, using
Oh my gosh.
using mPlayer.
But wait, it's
mPlayer has an option. It's TAC-VO, and the parameter is AA. And then you give it TAC quiet and TAC monitor pixel aspect 0.5. I'll have that in the show notes as well as a link to his video.
Is he really
look
watching?
Look at that! It's ASCII Hack5. And look at you, Shannon. You look so great in ASCII.
Yeah, it hides all my
blemishes.
imperfections.
We used to say in season 1, like, don't worry about it. The
It's only SD.
No. We used to, not just that. We used to say like, don't worry about it.
It's 640 by 480. Nobody can
looks
see
good
it.
in XVID. No offense, XVID.
Now you got HD, so I prefer to downgrade a little bit to the ASCII so that you can't see the imperfections on my face, except for all the J's and the K's.
Right. Oh my gosh, there's an aliasing joke in there somewhere. I should just, anyway, you can find all sorts of cool stuff over at adlerweb.info. That's where you'll find the rest of his videos.
That's cool.
It's really good stuff. Just thought I would show that off.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Wow.
Nice little Easter egg.
So let's see, now we can browse,
check your email.
Browse websites.
Browse the internets.
Yeah.
You can watch videos.
What can't you do in the terminal? Maybe that's a challenge. Okay, comments, feedback, let us know. What do you think you can't do? 'Cause we'll find a way. When there's a will, there's a way.
Well, I think we should wrap it up. But first, of course, feedback at hack5.org if you guys have questions, comments, or you want to tell us other things that you can do or cannot do on the command line or the terminal.
Yes. As well as pentest with Hak5.com. Check it out.
So excited.
So excited to be teaching with Mubix and Evil Server and Sebastian. It's going to be so great here in the Bay Area.
I'm very
in-person
excited.
Training. So rad.
And I'm glad it's on a Friday and a Saturday.
Yes.
So I can still go coupon on Sunday.
Yes. Not what I'll be doing on Sunday.
Shop at Hak5. Or not
I'll be
shop.
drone racing on
That's
Sunday.
Hackshop.com.
And then hackshop.com is the other place where you can support us directly, and we do absolutely appreciate it. You can find all the links over at Hak5, HAK5.org, and that's, where you can always find us, no matter what happens, period. Bookmark that. Keep that in mind. All right, with all of that said, I'm Darren
Scare me.
Kitchen.
I'm Shannon Morse.
We'll see you on the internet. No, what do we say?
What? Trust your technolist. I'm just taking this. This is mine now. You can't have it.
I need a vacation.
He's broken. Poor thing.
People don't say Web 2.0 anymore. What is, stop that. Stop that. Okay. Go away.